Alrighty. Nice. Alright, so we should be live here. Just do a little finagling here before we get started. Just gonna give people a couple minutes to join before I get started here. Alright. Oh my god. I didn't realize people still actually said that. I'm well, Vase, thanks. How are you doing? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So it looks like a couple people are here watching the game now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my pre-game rigmarole here. So as you can see, this is the bag that we're working with. To avoid the rattling of the chaos tokens, I've decided to just go ahead and use them unsealed. So just go ahead and put this in the bag now. So the events at the theater were pretty good. We managed to get 6 victory points, but we did unfortunately suffer a mental trauma due to the events at the theater. The man in the pallet mask managed to deal us our last point of horror, and we went down that way. I spent my experience buying Scrapper, so that's 5 XP of my 6, so I have 1 left. Going into this scenario, we start here in the foyer, but before we get into all of that, we have to put a bunch of these assets into play. And during the course of the scenario, you're also required to put these Sickening Reality cards into play as well. So in order to randomize them, I just go ahead and use a die, and I count 1 through whatever the die roll is, and then if I get a 6, for instance, I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then that would be the target. So we'll just go ahead and put these under the scenario reference card, and then we'll go ahead and give these a shuffle here real quick. So go ahead and roll this die. It's a 3. 1, 2, and 3, and then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, avoiding, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, avoiding 6. Okay, of course. 2, so 1, 2, and then same thing. I know this is going to take a second, so okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this should actually be here. 5. This again. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ignoring 6 still. 1, 2, and 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then that goes. Okay, so that's obnoxious, but either way. Okay, so we start here. This spawns with a clue. Let's go ahead and our opening resources. And draw our opening hand. All these decks just shuffle real quick before we do any of that. Oh, that's annoying. That's good to know, though. Thanks. Appreciate it, Jeff. Might just be... Yeah, hold on. Let me just adjust it real quick. There, that might be better. Yeah, I think it was just tagging on my shirt a little bit. Okay. So that's sufficiently shuffled. Go ahead and give the encounter deck a shuffle as well. So this D20 over here is going to be my turn counter, and then the D4 next to it is my action counter. And for everything else, I'm just going to use standard tokens for. This general area here is going to be my threat area, and then underneath here is where I'm going to put my assets, and here is going to be my discard pile. Excuse me. Yeah, other than that, I don't think there's really much else to say before we get going here. So let's go ahead and draw our opening hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, well, this hand is pretty bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna pitch the entire hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, we draw fine close. Let's go ahead and pitch that, and then draw our 5th card. Well, I guess it could be worse, but it's not a great opening start here. Let's put that there for now while I go ahead and shuffle. Well, if we had like a drawing thin or something, we could use that to draw into more cards, but this is just going to be fairly brutal. Given the nature of our hand, I think it's just going to be better if we try to go start with Ashley and then hopefully move to Haruko, but we'll see. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we just kind of spend a turn or two doing Ashley. We'll get up to 6 cards. We'll interview Haruko, and then we'll see how it goes. We could also try to parlay with Constance as well, but with a 2 intellect, that's still hard even with fine close. So, alright, let's go ahead and do this. First action, we're going to spend a resource. And we're going to play fine close. Second action... Before I do anything else, I have to put the 2 clues on everyone. Derp. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the problem is without drawing thin, I don't really have a means of accumulating resources. So interviewing Jordan is going to be difficult. We could also try to interview Sebastian, but Ashley just takes so long. I try to get Ashley out of the way first before I do the ones that you can use for 2 actions. So let's go ahead and with our second action, we could interview Sebastian first. I don't hate the idea of it, but it's also, again, actually it just takes so much time. So I guess I'll go second action, we'll move into the courtyard. And then forced effect, after you enter the courtyard, you have to discard the top card of the encounter deck. Oh my god. Oh my god, every time. And if it's an enemy, you have to draw it. So that's great. Well, we could use Duke to fight, so I think we're gonna have to do that. So our last action, we'll go ahead and use Duke. And we'll fight. It's gonna be 4 versus 5. Let's spend a resource with using Scrapper. It'll be 5 versus 5. Let's spend another resource. It's going to be 6 versus 5. And do I need... and then let's go ahead and spend another resource to make it a 7 versus 5. Okay. So in both of my off-camera games, that happened to me as well, and it sucks. I don't know why the roaches are always in the courtyard, but they always seem to be there. Alright. So again, it's going to be 7 versus 5. And we get a -1, so that's a 6 versus 5. So we succeed and deal 2 damage. Okay, so enemy phase, there are no enemies. Upkeep phase, go ahead and ready our assets and gain a resource and draw a card. Of course. Okay, so that's cool. Right. So at the end of Upkeep, we have to discard a card. Well, let's go ahead and pitch Fight or Flight. We don't need that for the time being. Alright, well, this is not going as planned. Right. So turn 2, do 1 of 3, and we'll draw an encounter card. And we draw a Maniac. Okay, again, not going as planned. So force effect, after he engages us, we take a damage, and we deal a damage to him. Alright, again, not going as planned. So Haruko is out of the question for the time being. Alright, so we need to deal 3 damage before we do anything else. Let's go ahead and gain our actions. First action, let's use Duke to fight. And then we'll spend a resource with Scrapper to give us +1 combat. So that's going to be a 5 versus 3. Oh, snap. Yeah, my stream apparently does not appreciate your foul language, Jeff. So if you could please just simmer down. So again, we're fighting 5 versus 3 using Duke here. Alright, and we draw a -2. Alright, so we pass. So he's going to take 2 damage. And let's see, second action. Let's go ahead and pitch this. I don't really want to pitch Take Heart, but I don't want to pitch Lucky. Oh my god. Oh, this sucks. Let's just go ahead and pitch Take Heart with Pete here to ready Duke, and then let's go ahead and use Duke again, and we will commit Last Chance. So that's going to be for +4. So that's going to be an 8 versus 3. Using our second action here. Alright. Yeah, seriously, I know. And a skull, which is a reveal another token. Okay, so no tentacle, no tentacle, no tentacle? Yeah, I know, but... True, for now, but I'm still going to have to get rid of it. So again, we're revealing another token. And we get a +1, okay. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and... So he dies. And then we have one action left. Let's go ahead and move to the gallery with our last action. Alright. So, after I end my turn, I have to test willpower 2. If I fail, place one of my clues, but thankfully I don't have any clues, so this is pretty pointless. Alright, I get a 0, so I would pass, but that doesn't really matter. Alright, so enemy phase, no enemies, upkeep. We will go ahead and ready our assets, gain a resource, and draw a card. We draw an Overpower, and then we will go into turn 3 here. Second Doom on the agenda, and draw an encounter card. Alright, so we draw a Dance of the Yellow Sign, and there are no lunatic enemies in play, so this will do nothing and gain Surge. And we draw an Ancient Evils. So we place a Doom on the agenda, which will cause it to advance. Alright, nice. This is not going as planned. So, find the bystander asset with the fewest clues and spawn Diane Divine on its location. So go ahead and spawn that with Dordan, and then shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Alright, well, so we've done essentially nothing but punch enemies for the past couple of turns. We don't have to get rid of drawing the sign just yet. So we could spend our turn parlaying with Ashley and getting a clue that way. But we don't really have much more meaningful things to do with our turn after that. So, I don't think that I planned this out very well. Yeah, seriously? Okay, so, investigation phase. Let's parlay with Ashley using 2 of our actions. Going to 1 action, we'll get a clue. And with our last action, let's... Yeah, let's go ahead and gain a resource. Alright, so, enemy phase, no enemies. Upkeep phase, we'll gain a resource. ready your assets and draw a card. Draw a Resourceful. We have a current hand of Resourceful, Overpower, and Lucky. And then we will enter turn 4, doom 1 of 3. And we will draw an encounter card. God. More roaches. Alright, well thankfully in the gallery they're not so intimidating. So, we can use our turn here to punch. So that's going to be 4 versus 1. So many enemies, my goodness. Action 1. Fight. 4 versus 2. We draw from the Chaos Bag a -4. Are you kidding me? Oh, God. This is not going well. So we could not use that. That doesn't help us at all. That sucks. Oh, my goodness. Well, okay. That's awkward. That's really awkward. Right. Let's go ahead and use Pete to discard a card. We'll discard Overpower to ready Duke. And then we'll use our second action to fight the Roach Swarm yet again at 1 versus 4. Oh, I could have. Yeah, that's true. I'd really like to save it, ideally, for when I need it for parlaying with those obnoxious parlay tests. Because those are more important. But at this point, you're probably right. Oh well, it's a little too late for that now. Okay, so, fighting again. 1 versus 4. That's a -2. Alright, so. Alright, so this has been most dreadful. I also missed a test here as well, I believe, so that's going to be a nick on my overall performance. Not that this run is going particularly well, but last action. I don't really want to fail that test. I think this is the one that lets you gain 2 resources, if I remember correctly. Last action. Let's go ahead and I don't really like the idea of moving and then doing Yeah, let's just go ahead and move to the ballroom. Alright, so that was my last action. Alright, so enemy phase, no enemies, upkeep. Yeah, I've admittedly not played this game very well. I do. You're absolutely correct. So before I go into upkeep, I have to actually move this. And it's just one location. Yeah. So go ahead and move her there. And then let's go back to upkeep. So we'll gain a resource and draw a card. So we draw a Rabbit's Foot with our hand of Resourceful, Rabbit's Foot, and Lucky. We'll go into turn 5, doom number 2, and we'll draw another encounter card. Alright, we must either place a clue on a bystander or take a damage in a horror. I'm gonna just take a damage in a horror. Not ideal, but it's fine. Put the horror here. Okay, so investigation phase. Change of plans here. Just straight up moves. Make sure I'm doing this right before I do anything else. So she would be here rather than here. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so I still have yet to do anything. Okay. So with my turn here, change of plans, first action. And we'll go ahead and parlay with Constance. That's a parlay test of 3 minus 2, which is 1 over 2, which is not very helpful. So for this first test, I'm going to commit Rabbit's Foot, and then I'll gain 2 resources via the reaction in the ballroom. Alright, so it's going to be a 1 versus 3 parlay test here. Parlay of 1 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -2, so we pass. Alright, so let's go ahead and spend our second action. And don't think I need any of those cards just yet. So we'll save Resourceful and we'll use Lucky for this. So we're gonna parlay again. That's gonna be 1 versus 2. Yeah, well, Rabbit's Foot's only good if you remember to actually use the reaction ability, so there's that. So again, we're parlaying 1 versus 2. And we draw a skull, which is, of course, revealing another token. Card is only as good as you remember to use it. Alright, and we draw a 0. Nice. Okay, so we discover the last clue on Constance, and then we flip her over, and then we read some flavor text, which you're more than welcome to pause the video and read yourself. And we have interviewed Constance, and then we flip this card back over. Okay, so we have one more action. Let's use that action to move into the foyer. Okay, so enemy phase, let's not forget to do this. We're gonna move Diane. I remembered, it's fine. And moving back into Upkeep, we'll gain a resource. We will draw a card. We draw a Magnifying Glass, which could potentially be helpful later on, depending on how the scenario goes. So our quick recap of our hand, we have a Mag Glass, Lucky, and Resourceful. And we'll go into turn 6, and we will advance the agenda. Alright, so we're going to bust out the d6 again. And we get a 5. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so we get a Jordan parry. And we move each clue from Jordan to his location. And then poor Mr. Jordan goes bye-bye and turns into a giant smoldering heat monster. That's nice. Fun. This is turning out to be a great party. So, right, so we have to draw our encounter card for the turn. And seriously, tough crowd. Alright, each investigator must spend an additional action to parlay, and put this next to the agenda deck. At the end of the round, discard tough crowd. So I'm going to put that there just to remind myself to discard it. Let's go ahead and gain our 3 actions again. Alright, so we're swimming in a boat of resources, and it might be useful for me to get that clue in the foyer now. Alternatively, I could try to parlay with Sebastian, but that would take my whole turn just to get 1 clue for And I'd have to deal with Jordan, which would suck, simply put. So, let's not do that for the time being. Well, what do I want to do? So I could investigate and then move, which isn't the worst. Or move. Probably better to move through the ballroom than it is to move through the courtyard, given our last encounter with the courtyard. Yeah, I think Jordan is the hardest of the VIPs to interview, just because most solo investigators have a hard time getting up to 10 resources. Alright, so yeah, let's just do that. Let's investigate the foyer, but before we do that, let's play Mag Glass. And then we're gonna go ahead and use Duke. So that's gonna be a 5 versus 2 to investigate. And we'll see what the Chaos Bag says here. Little old Diane, I guess, is just gonna stay in the ballroom for a little while. So, drawing 5 versus 2 to investigate the foyer, we get a... And we get a -2. So we pass, we get a clue. So that was our first action. Second action, let's move into the ballroom. And third action, forgot to spend a resource for that. And third action, let's... if I move, I don't want to fail that willpower test. That would suck. But I also don't really want to waste my time either. Yeah, we're gonna risk it here. So we'll go here. That'll be our last action. And then after we end our turn there, we have to test willpower 2. So that's going to be 2 versus 4 here. He can, that's true. Preston can wear fine clothes. Alright. So, again, testing willpower 4 versus 2. We get a -1. Alright, so we pass, thankfully. Enemy phase. Jordan is going to move menacingly. And Diane still stays here because she has 0. And then at the end of the round, we will discard that. But moving into Upkeep. This should be on 6. So yeah, moving into Upkeep, we'll gain a resource, and we will draw a card. Draw a fight or flight. Working with drawing the sign has been obnoxious. Okay, so that's the end of the round. That'll get discarded. Turn 7. Doom 1. Draw an encounter card. Joy. And we draw an Ancient Evils, and we add another Doom. Okay, this is going great. Definitely going as planned. Alright, let's... God, I gotta get away from Jordan, too. So let's go ahead and use 2 of our actions to parlay with Ashley. So we have 1 action left. Flip this card over. We've interviewed Ashley, so it's 2 now. That's Constance and Ashley. And we flip that card back over. And then with our last action... Oh my god, Jordan is gonna smack us no matter where we go. But I think I still want to move into the ballroom. Yes, because I'd rather do that than take another willpower test and potentially get a tentacle. So we'll use our last action to move. Okay. You guys think you're funny. Okay, moving into enemy phase here. Jordan is gonna move. He's gonna engage us, and he is going to owie kablowie. That's not a thing people say, so forgive me. Go ahead and take a damage and a horror. Again, this is going great. I would like to reiterate that this is going great. Okay. That finishes enemy phase. In Upkeep, go ahead and gain a resource and draw a card. Draw an Arcane Studies. That is useful. That is quite useful. So we have to choose a card to discard. Arcane Studies is useful, but do we have time to play it? I don't know. I don't think so. Fight or flight. Fight or flight is also useful this turn. So resourceful is not the best. At least not right now, anyway. So let's go ahead and pitch resourceful. Okay, so, and that's going to be turn 9. I'll go ahead and advance again. Go ahead and use the die again. And get a 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, gross. Alright, so we got Constance's sickening reality. So each investigator at our location has to take a horror. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it, pal. Or Duke. Appreciate it. Move each clue from Constance to her location, which there are none, and then flip this card to its enemy side and swap it. So, sorry, Constance. But now we have 2 gross, nasty enemies to deal with. So, great. Okay. Wonderful. Jolly. Well, thankfully we're quite the scrapper, and we can just get out of dodge here. Hopefully. This is ending up to be quite brutal. So, let's go ahead and let's play Fight or Flight, spending a resource. So we're going to get +2 to our fight and evade. And then let's start by evading... Oh, jeez. Let's start by evading Constance. So first action is going to be evade Constance. That's going to be a 1 versus 5. The Chaos Bag hopefully is kind to us. Hopefully. Usually isn't, though. Alright, so we draw a 0, so it was kind to us. And we will exhaust Constance. With our second action, let's evade Jordan. That's going to be 5 versus 2. Please, no tentacle. Please, 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 please. We need to run away. Okay, so we draw a 0. Woo! Alright, so we get the heck out of there. And then let's go ahead and use our last action to move to the foyer. Okay, so enemy phase. These things already. Diane will move for once. She'll move here. I remembered. I'm so proud of myself. I've been admittedly really bad at remembering that. So upkeep. Gain a resource. Draw a card. Oh my god. Brutal. It could be worse. Hopefully we don't draw any enemies. So let's exhaust all our assets here. I guess technically this exhausts, but not that it really matters. Okay. Right. Fun. Fun on a bun. So, turn 10. And a doom. Draw our encounter card, and we draw a corrosion of at least X, where X is the shroud value of our location. So we have to discard item assets equal to 2. Why? Why do you have to do this to me? Why? Why? This has been so cruel. And here we were, just having a grand old time at this party. But no. But no. No. We just have to, it's fine. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and, so we could just try to like move and get both clues that way. Otherwise it's gonna, we do potentially have a turn. So I could spend an action to play Arcane Studies and then move and then parlay. We could do that. That's not the worst. We could alternatively try to get greedy and hope we just pass a bunch of those tests, which I don't think we will. I'm always skeptical. Always skeptical. Yeah, this party is becoming real silly. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the greedy play here, because I'm eventually gonna need to investigate as well. Not that being racked by nightmares is doing me any favors. So let's spend our first action. Let's play Arcane Studies, spending 2 resources. And then let's go ahead and spend our second action to move to the living room. 3 Shroud has a reaction after you perform a parlay action in the living room. Draw a card. Ooh, nice. Thankfully, that is useful. Okay, so let's parlay. And that's going to be 3 versus 4. Go ahead and draw a card. Draw an improvised weapon. Our current hand of lucky and improvised weapon. And we're parlaying 3 versus 4. And I'm going to spend 2 resources into Arcane Studies to pump my willpower to a 6. So that's going to be 6 versus 3 here. Alright, and we draw a skull. This is not good. Okay, if we fail this, this sucks. So, no tentacle, please. No tentacle, please. That would be great. Okay, and we draw a -2. So thankfully we pass. So we do not have to put a doom on that enemy or any other nonsense. We'll go ahead and get that clue. And then that'll be our 3 actions. And then enemy phase. These guys are going to move. How realistic is how realistic is it for me to actually get those 2 clues in the dining room in addition to interviewing Sebastian? It's possible. We're gonna go for the gold, I guess. And we can always take a physical trauma if we feel like it. Yeah, let's... Okay, we're gonna move both these enemies into the foyer. Chasing after me and my dog. Please, God, no. Alright, upkeep. Go ahead and gain a resource. And draw a card. And we draw a resourceful. So our 3-card hand is lucky, improvised weapon, and resourceful. Okay. Turn 11. Mythos phase. Second doom. 3. And we draw a fine dining. You must either place a clue on a bystander asset in play or take a damage and a horror. So we could place a clue back and try to get both back and then move into the dining room. I'm not sure how well that plan works out, because we could alternatively try to... Actually, that's not the worst. Taking damage in a horror here is also not great, because we might need to survive. Let's just take a damage in a horror. Going for the gold here. Going for the max greed. Okay, so let's go ahead and parlay again. And that's going to cause us to draw a card. And that's going to be 4 versus 3, which we're going to go ahead and spend 2 to make it a 6 again. So it's going to be 6 versus 3. First action, parlaying 6 versus 3. And Chaos Bag says, skull. Okay, this is getting quite ridiculous. And we get a, okay, again, testing 6 versus 3, get a +1. Alright, so we succeed. We get this clue. Go ahead and flip this over. We've interviewed Sebastian, and then we flip this card back over. That was our first action. Second action, let's go ahead and get into this dining room here. I'll move into the dining room. 2 shroud, 2 clues, and it has an action that says you can heal a horror, then reveal a random token from the bag, and if a skull or a tentacle is revealed, you take a horror and place a doom on the dining room. Which we are not going to do. No thank you. So, especially with our luck of drawing skulls recently, we're going to have to discard a card during upkeep here. We can't ready our assets. So let's just try to investigate here. It's going to be 2 versus 2. Gross. We could try to... So I'm going to game this a little bit here. So I'm going to use Pete to discard Winging It to try to ready Duke, which I can't do. So this is going to go into my discard pile. And then we're going to use our last action here. And we're going to play winging it from the discard pile. So it's going to be a 1 versus 2, and I am going to spend a resource with Arcane Studies to pump my intellect to a 3. That's going to be 1 versus 3. Alright. Oh, welcome back. And we draw -2. So we were testing 1 versus 3, and we draw -2, so we pass. And since we played winging it from our discard pile, we get an additional clue. Bam! And then this gets shuffled into our deck. Yep. And so let's see. You may play winging it from your, if you do shuffle back in your deck. Yep. So that's turn 11. Alright. So that was a pretty good turn. Getting 3 clues there. We parlayed, succeeded, moved, discarded winging it, and played winging it with our last action to get 2 clues from the dining room. So, we're in enemy phase of turn 11 here. Let's move these guys. So we could move them here, and then scoot, scoot, resign. Or we could try to tough it out. Alternatively, we could put them here, and then get greedy. But, I don't know. I'm thinking that I might have to just get out of here. So I think I'm gonna put them here. Because I don't think I'm gonna do much more productive things. Especially with another enemy flipping, it's gonna be quite brutal. So that's gonna be enemy phase. Let's move into Upkeep. We will not ready our assets, because we're still racked by nightmares. We will, however, gain a resource and draw a card. Did I shuffle? I feel like I didn't shuffle my deck, but I drew winging it. Can chat confirm if I shuffled my deck or not? I feel like I didn't shuffle my deck. It seems very silly to draw that, yeah. Oh, geez, really? Are you kidding me? Well, that sucks. Yeah, I thought I had. I mean, not that this playthrough is exactly the most productive use of my league points anyway, but I think for now we'll just go with it. It's like, not that it's not a random draw or anything, so. And not like I'm just gonna discard a card during Upkeep anyway. So, I guess we'll just, yeah. Well, it sucks. I didn't even realize I had the locations in the wrong spot. That was stupid. Well, that's fine. I guess I'll take the hit. I'll lose a point for that. It is what it is. Nothing you can do about it now. So, anyway, we'll discard a card during Upkeep to hand size, which will be winging it, and then we will move into turn 12 with those phase, which will cause the agenda to advance again, which I'm going to take out my old trusty die here. And get a 1, so whatever's on top. And that is Ashley. So So we're not anywhere near Ashley. She doesn't have any clues, and then we flip this card over and remove the other Ashley. I mean, I think all things considered, we've done a pretty good job here. We've managed to interview 3 of the guests and get clues from the 4th one. So I'm pretty pleased with this playthrough. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Wingy. Appreciate it. You're the man. Look at you. Alright, well, I mean, not that that's really going to affect much anyway, because I think I'm just going to leave. So let's go ahead and gain our 3 actions. But I have to draw my encounter card for the turn. So let's do that. Alright, so marked by the sign, peril, test willpower 2. If I fail, take 2 horror. Alright, well, thankfully we have Pete as a sponge if necessary. So, and lucky. So let's go ahead and... yeah, we don't have time for this. So let's go ahead and spend a resource in Arcane Studies. It's going to be 5 versus 2 here. Testing willpower. Alright, so we draw a 0. So we pass. Alright, investigation phase. We out? I think we out. We did... yeah, we out. So we're just gonna go boop, boop, and boop. And we don't have an extra action to resign. So this might really suck. Because we would, let's see, we would take 2 damage and, well, we take 3 damage and a horror. So, yeah, that sucks. Nothing we can do about that, really, unless we wanted to move and evade. But, yeah, I'm gonna accept that. So, enemy phase, you're gonna move, and I'm gonna get hit. And Duke is gonna take the horror, and a damage, and then I'm gonna die. Oh, wait, no. I would take 2 damage and go to 5. So rip Duke. Can we have a moment of silence for Duke, please? Oh, you're right, I am moving twice. Yeah, that's dumb. So I do have an action to resign. Oh, yeah. Alright, so this way I don't take a trauma. But I do have an action to resign. You are absolutely correct. I can do that. Yep. So that was dumb. I was gonna say, I planned that out like the whole turn prior to that. That was like the whole point of me going up into the dining room and moving them into the courtyard was so that I could move, resign. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that's my run, as kind of sloppy as it was compared to my first one. This scenario tends to be really RNG heavy, especially depending on where they spawn, and if you're dumb like me and put the locations in the wrong spot, that doesn't help. So, other than that, we managed to get Sebastian, Ashley, and Constance, which is pretty good. I never really expect to get Jordan, and normally I expect to get Haruko as well, but yeah, not the worst. We managed to get, let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 clues. So pretty good run. Definitely a couple things I missed. Yeah, 3 interviewed is really good. I definitely missed a couple of things. I think there was a couple of little small errors, so I'll probably get a point nicked off for that. But other than that, I think it was pretty decent. Especially given how the start of the scenario ended up with, we had like 2 enemies just back to back, and then multiple roach swarms in the courtyard. It was just brutal. So Yeah. So that's Pete's run of The Last King, and we resigned. And let's see what resolution we get here. I think there's only one resolution, if I remember correctly, right? Or no, the resolution 2 is yeah. So we resign, and that's resolution 1. So we interview 3 VIPs, and then we move on to the interlude. All right. So I guess I have a decision to make on whether or not I want to go doubt or conviction. Question for the people in chat: do we have to make this decision now, or is it made? Is it made before you play the next scenario? Give a second for the people in chat to answer. Do any of you guys know? So we have to choose one of 3. It's either go back and investigate, or block the door and get the hell out, or kill everyone. So it's resolution 1 is the doubt resolution, and resolution 2 is the you fled the dinner party one, and then resolution 3 is the conviction one. Okay. Well, if everyone else has done it on stream, I might as well make my decision on stream as well, so it's made public. Do I want to go doubt, conviction, or my own path? I kind of want to go my own path. Role-playing purposes, I don't think Pete is the type of person to go back in to the house. I mean, Pete feels like the kind of the kind of guy that would just kind of put the door up and run the hell out of there. Especially this Pete with track shoes. So we're gonna go with Lunacy's Reward 2. So the door is not going to stop them. In our campaign log, we record that we fled the dinner party, and we remove all of the cultist, tablet, and elder thing tokens and add 2 tablets. So I'll go ahead and do that. We'll put the 2 tablet tokens. All right. Now we're gonna deal with those enemies as they come. We're gonna be a tough guy here. Part of me wanted to burn them to the ground, but we're gonna make things interesting here. So, I think so. In terms of upgrading purposes, we're probably gonna go with 2 copies of Cornered. I have 1 XP left from my previous scenario, but I think I'm gonna hold on to that for now. Yeah. Other than wanna thank you guys for watching, and yeah, have a great rest of your day.